Here are 8 fun games that you can play using the app Procreate. Some of these games you can do on your own, and there are games that you can do with 2 or more people. We'll start off with the mystery drawing or photo. First, make sure you have opened a drawing or photo in Procreate. Then go to the magic wand, then to liquefy, and then just go ahead, use twirl, pinch, a whole bunch of these options to make your image irrecognizable. Just swirl your image, use crystals, just to make sure that your opponents, the other person you're playing with, won't recognize what this is. And then once you feel like this is super abstract and the other person definitely won't know what this is, then you can start your game. Let me make it a little bit bigger. You can go to reconstruct, and then when you tap in any area, it'll reconstruct that part of the photo or drawing. So you can tap in different places and slowly reconstruct the image and let the opponent, let the other player guess what it is that's in this image. Do you know what it is yet? And of course you can do this with any type of photo or drawing and have endless fun. Next up is art puzzle exchange. You can make a puzzle for your friends or family or for yourself. What you need is a photo or a drawing like this one that we did a while back, and make sure that your drawing is on one layer. Then we'll zoom out a little bit. And then first you need to make the puzzle pieces. You can go to the selection tool, the S-shaped ribbon, set it to freehand, and then create puzzle pieces in whatever shape you like. You can go for traditional pieces or go for something entirely different. Close your selection, then slide down with 3 fingers and use cut and paste. Then when you go to your layer, you'll see that this piece is on a separate layer. Now let's turn that off, go back to layer 1, and then repeat this step. Go to the selection tool, make another puzzle piece, close the selection, slide down with 3 fingers and use cut and paste. Go to the layer menu, turn this one off, and go to layer 1 again. And just repeat this step until you have broken down your entire piece into puzzle pieces. So another one, big piece, cut and paste, back to the layer, turn it off, and then to layer 1. And of course you can go for small pieces or big pieces, depending on how difficult you want your puzzle to be. So now I have divided my image into 6 pieces, and I will want to break this up. Now to do that, first let's make our canvas a bit bigger so we have some room for our puzzle pieces. We'll go to the wrench, then to canvas, then to crop and resize. Then let's go to settings, and this canvas right now is 2500 pixels by 2500 pixels, but let's make it 5000 for instance. Nice and big. Let's use snapping here. And then we can zoom out and we can put this around our image. So we have a lot of space around it. Then we can tap done. And now we need to easily be able to move our pieces around. And we are going to use gestures for that. We need to go to the wrench, then to prefs, then to gesture controls. Then we'll go to layer select. This is how you can select a layer, and I'm going to set it to touch. So whenever you touch your canvas, it'll select the layer. So if you touch a specific piece, it will select the layer on which that piece is. Then we'll also go to quick menu, and we'll set quick menu to touch and hold. So when you touch and hold on your canvas, it'll open the quick menu. We'll tap done. Let's close this, and now when you touch this, it'll select the layer on which that piece is. And when we touch and hold, our quick menu will open. Now I want to create a special quick menu for games. So let's tap flow here in the middle. Now we can tap the plus for a new quick menu. And let's change the name to game. Then let's make an action here at the top by holding it. And then we are going to find layer transformation. So that's, where is it? The transform tool. We need the transform tool here so we can easily select our layers and then transform them. So now when you touch a piece and then tap and hold and slide up to transform tool, it'll open the transform tool and you can move your piece around. Make sure to not make it bigger or smaller unless you want the puzzle to be even harder. And then go out here, tap the next one, tap and hold, and go to the transform tool. You can rotate it, move it around, and then go out of the transform tool. Then another one, first tap it, then tap and hold, go to the transform tool, rotate it. You can also use your pen outside of your puzzle piece. And always make sure that you don't place your puzzle piece outside of your canvas because then it'll get cut off. So then again, go out, tap a piece, tap and hold, slide up to transform, and then move the piece around. Go out of here, tap to select this piece, then tap and hold, and use the transform tool. This way you can scramble your layers, your little puzzle pieces. Then get out of here, send it to a friend, and have him or her solve the puzzle. Next up is random word prompts. This is a game that you can play on your own. And for this, you'll need to use a random word generator. You can find loads of them if you just Google them, or use a Pictionary word generator, or just Pictionary cards if you have them. So just get a random word and start drawing. And this is perfect if you want to, for instance, get a nice doodle illustration. Maybe you want lots of random stuff. And this is the perfect way to get inspiration and to just relax, get those creative juices flowing. And challenge yourself to draw things that normally you might not be drawing. Next up, we'll create checkers for Procreate. First, we need to create our checkerboard. Let's zoom out a little bit. I have a square canvas. It's 2,500 pixels by 2,500 pixels. At first, we need a special brush. We'll go to Textures and then to Grid. This is perfect when you want to create a checkerboard. Let's see the size. This is a bit too small. For a checkerboard, we need a grid of 10 by 10. So let's make sure that we can make this brush a little bit bigger. We can go to the brush, tap it, and then go to Properties, and here slide to the right for maximum size. I'll go for something around this number, 672, then tap Done. And then let's see the size. This is a bit too big, so we can just use the slider here, make it a bit smaller again. Let's see how big this is. Let's not lift our pen and just fill our canvas. Let's see, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. Still a little bit too small, but we can just use the Move and Transform tool. Let's go there. Make sure you have it set to uniform. And then we are going to use that slider. Let's see, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. Needs to be a little bit bigger. So this should be about it. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. Yeah, we have our checkerboard. Let's tap the arrow to get out of here. And now we'll want to fill some of these squares with black. We'll start in the lower left corner. Let's grab pure black and then drag it into that square, and then use continue filling to fill all of these squares with a checkerboard pattern. And tap this little check mark. Next, let's make our checkerboard a little bit smaller. Let's go to the Move and Transform tool. Make it a little bit smaller so we have some space around our checkerboard. And I do see a dark edge. We can get rid of that. So place it in the center, then go to the selection tool if needed, set it to rectangle, and then select this edge. I also have a lower edge here. And then slide with 3 fingers to get rid of that. You can also create a nice edge around our checkerboard. Let's tap the plus and we can go to the selection tool again, set it to rectangle and turn on color fill. And we can go for like a wooden color, maybe a little bit brownish, orange-like. And we will select the borders. And you can leave a little edge. And then tap the selection tool again, and you can decorate it any way you like. Perhaps you would like a wooden texture there. You could tap this layer, set it to alpha lock, and then go and grab the wood texture brush, for instance, with a darker color. Make this brush nice and big and go over here. But you can decorate your checkerboard any way you like. Now I want the checker pieces to be black and white, or a very light color. Now since this is black and white as well, I want to make the black parts a little bit lighter so we can see our pieces. So let's go to this layer, tap it, turn on alpha lock, then we'll grab a grayish color, then tap the layer again and use fill layer. I think this looks good. Now that we have our checkerboard, we can pinch these together. And now we need layers for our pieces. And you need a brush to create those pieces. You can go for any style. For instance, with a dry ink brush, you can have a bit of a loose style. I'll go for black. And you can make a piece like this. Perhaps you'd like something a bit like sketcherly. And then you can simply duplicate this layer each time until you have all your black pieces like this. By the way, if you can't make this many layers because every piece needs to be on its own layer, then make your canvas smaller. So you could go for 1000 by 1000, for instance. Now do the same for the white pieces. First you can duplicate a black piece and then move it to the white side. And then let's change its color. Let's go for something that is not entirely white. Let's drag it on here. And then we'll duplicate this one until the white side is filled as well. Now, if you don't feel like making all these pieces and a checkerboard, then you can also just download mine through Patreon. You can become a free member to get it. And as a free member, you actually also get some other free brushes and stuff. So I'll leave a link in the description. Now to get started playing checkers, you need to have the same settings as we used for our puzzle earlier in this video. So you can touch a piece to select the layer, then touch and hold, use the transform tool, and then move your piece around and then go out of that menu. So tap, then tap and hold, use the transform tool, and move your piece. And of course you can do this with any type of board game and create some crazy designs. If you are more of a chess player, I have also created a chess game, which you can also get by becoming a free Patreon member. Next up is a fun challenge that you can do on your own, and that's making a drawing without lifting your pen from your screen. So it'll be a one-line drawing. I'm going to give it a try, and now let's see how fast you can guess what I'm drawing. And let me know your result in the comments. All right, there we go. This is super hard, but it's a nice challenge. And you need to think ahead of where you're going. And of course you won't get like a perfect result. And it's not about that. It's about having fun with this. Has anyone guessed it already? I think it's pretty recognizable. Sometimes you need to retrace your lines. This looks weird, but we can't lift our pen. Let's go back. This is a bit artistic. Let's speed this up a little bit. There it is. Did you guess? And this isn't just a fun game, it's also great brain training. Next is the Procreate memory game. First, create a bunch of drawings, like the doodles we created in a tutorial a while back and make duplicates of them. Then place them randomly on your canvas and cover them with square cards. Now they don't have to be perfect squares, they don't have to be blue, they can be any design as long as they cover your drawings, and they all need to be on separate layers. So every card needs its own layer. That's very important. And then we are going to use the settings that we use for our puzzle again. So when we tap a layer, it'll select it. And then when you tap and hold, the quick menu will open. But now I want to add a different action. So let's tap no action here and hold it. And then I want to set this to layer visibility. If I can find it. Should be somewhere here, I guess. Yeah, layer visibility. So now when you tap this, it'll turn off the visibility of the layer on which that card is. So now we can tap another one and tap and hold, move down to layer visibility, and then we will open this card. Now I don't have a match, so we can undo with 2-finger tap and then try again. Tap one to select it, tap and hold, and use layer visibility. Then tap another one, tap and hold, and use layer visibility. Now, if you don't feel like creating all this, I will share this memory game at Patreon as well. It's totally free, so just follow the link in the description. A variation to the random word prompts game is the doodle guessing game. You can do this with multiple people and you can use a random word generator again. So one person is drawing something and the other one is guessing what it is. And it could be anything. You can make up your own drawings or, like I said, use a random word generator. And as a variation to this, to make it a bit harder, you can go for a silhouette battle and only draw the outlines of the subject. So for instance, something like this. Not sure if you'll be able to guess what it is. Yeah, I think it's pretty obvious. Or is it? I don't know. What do you think this is? Next we'll play Exquisite Corpse. Perhaps you have played this game with pencil and paper, but we are going to divide our canvas into 3 parts so that the first person can draw the head of our monster or creature or person, next person can draw the body, and finally on the third piece the legs will be drawn. So you need a vertical portrait oriented canvas, and we are going to divide this in 3 pieces first. So we'll go to the selection tool, set it to rectangle and turn on color fill. And let's just grab a nice blue color, for instance. And you don't have to be super precise here. We can just select this part, this top part, color it in. Then we'll create a new layer. We'll tap the plus, but let's drag this underneath since we're going from the top to the bottom. Then tap this layer again, tap select, turn off color fill, then use invert, and then use remove to remove the bottom part. So we'll slide like this, remove this area. So we have only selected the center part. Then we'll go to this bottom layer and drag in the color here. Then let's zoom out a bit. Let's turn off our selection. And now let's prepare our Exquisite Corpse game. First, let's tap the plus for a new layer and drag it to the bottom. And that layer will be for our final part, for the legs. Then we have that layer for the middle part. Let's duplicate it. Then go to the bottom one and let's fill the bottom layer with white. So we'll double tap here to grab white, drag it onto that shape. And when you go to your layer menu, you'll see that the bottom part is white. We'll do the same over here for the top one. We'll duplicate that, go to the bottom one, and drag the white on there. So for each of these, we have a blue layer and a white layer. Now let's slide to the right here and group these. And let's also make a group for these two. So we have one group for the top area, one group for the middle area, and we have a layer for the bottom, for the final part. Now let's turn this off. Let's say you have drawn the head on the top part. And then the next one needs to attach the body to the head. So he or she will need to see a slight part, a small part of your drawing. So what we'll do is we'll add a layer mask. First, let's grab the selection tool, make sure color fill is turned off and set it to rectangle. And then select this area, but leave a slight part here. Then once you have selected this, make sure you tap invert. So everything else is selected. Then go to your layer, your white layer, tap it and use mask. Then turn off the selection. And now let me show you how this works. Let's turn off our layer mask. Then go to that layer and also make sure that on this layer, you turn on alpha lock so you can go outside of that shape. And then when you draw anything like a weird little head and you turn on that layer mask, the next person will only see the neck. Now let me undo this. Let's also prepare the next layer. So we'll go to this one. We need another selection. We'll go to the selection tool and select this one and just go a little bit above the edge. Then use invert. Then go to that layer, tap it, and use mask. And now let's turn off the selection. You could actually remove the blue layers. They are actually here so we could create a group. We can turn off this layer mask. And we have created these groups just so when the next person turns on their layer mask, they won't clearly see the drawing of the other person. And also for the first one drawing, it's handy to have this blue layer in the center so you know what area you are supposed to draw the head in. So let's go ahead and draw a head, and then we can ask someone else to draw the middle part. But before we do that, let's not forget to also turn on an alpha lock on this layer. Let's turn it on so the drawing layers have alpha lock turned on. Now let's go to this one and draw a head. To give it a big wobbly head with a big smile and these funny looking teeth, cute little eyes, and a little nose. And maybe he has these ears. Now I need to prepare this so the next person can start drawing. So I need to turn on the layer mask, close this group so he won't be able to see my drawing. And then go to this layer, turn the blue one off, and then he can draw on this layer. And to make it easier for him to see where he needs to stop at the bottom, we can go to this bottom layer. Let's use that blue again, drag that in here, and then let's get rid of the top part. Let's make a selection of the top, and then you can swipe with 3 fingers to get rid of that. So just for now, it'll be blue. Let's go back to this layer. Let's grab black. And now it's time for the next player. Now, of course, you shouldn't be peeking while player 2 is drawing. Otherwise, you will spoil the surprise at the end. And then once player 2 is finished, he or she can turn on the layer mask again and remove this placeholder blue block. All right, now let me draw the legs. Not sure what type of shoe this is, but we'll see what the end result will be. And then once all 3 parts are drawn, it's time for the reveal. You can turn off the layer masks and then find out that together we created a pretty derpy flow creator. You can have endless fun with this. You can either create this system of layers yourself, or you can download it again through Patreon by becoming a free member. Now let me know in the comments what your favorite game was. I'm curious to know. And then I'll see you next time for the next video. Thank you for watching.